Today let's talk about a very useful feature in pivot table analysis that's called data slicer. To illustrate that, let's answer the following questions. What is the unit revenue for each prototype in this data set? This is the reservation data set that we saw earlier. And how does that change across channels and over time? Okay, so one thing at a time. So let's first answer the first question. What is the unit revenue for each prototype? Now this is the prototype in this column, and this is the unit amount. That's the unit revenue for each reservation. So we're going to do a pivot table to answer that. So let's go to Insert, Pivot Table, and we use New Worksheet. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so that you can see a little bit clearly. Okay, so to do that prototype, we put product in rows, and then we're gonna get unit amount as our values here. Now of course I want to understand the averages, so click on that. Okay, and I also want to see how many of them, how many reservations are there, so I'm gonna do count. So that's the two columns here. I would like to make this format a little bit better, so go to home, and perhaps I would just want one decimal place, and that'll be good enough. Okay, so I can even build a conditional formatting data bar. Okay, so now indeed unit revenue varies across different types. Okay, now my next question was, how does this change across channels? There are different ways of doing this. I guess most of us know how to build a filter into this, and you can do channel filter, and you can say, well, how about we do call, people from call in, people do vendor, and people go through the web. Okay, that is one way of doing that. But let me here introduce you a better way. Let's first clear out the channel here. Now if you select the pivot table, go to pivot table analyze, there's called slicer, and by the way there's also called insert timeline. So let's do the slicer here. So I want to say insert slicer, and on which variable it asks do you want to do slicers on. So we're gonna say channel, click OK. Now once you do that, this slicer window came up. Now you can see that it really does similar functions as the filter, but it does more efficient. So if you click on any of them, you see, and you can even press the Control or on the Mac you press on the Apple button to select multiple of them. So, and you can also build on one slicer. For example, I'm going to add timeline. Now Excel recognizes there are three variables that are times and dates, and it asks which one do you want to do. So we're just gonna pick book date, and there's a slicer coming up. Now this also can be customized quite a bit. For example, do you want to see over years, or over months, over quarters, over days? And here I guess over years is good enough. So here you can see that you can select each of the years, see how your unit revenue changes. It does change a little bit. Or you could use the slider here to see a section of the years. So for example, 2009, 2010, or the 3 years, 2009 to 2011. So it does provide a lot of flexibility in terms how you analyze in terms of how you analyze the data. Now, you can also build more onto those two slicers, and this is how we use this feature. Hope this is useful.